Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 51st Tech Talk today we're having. I'm joined today by our CEO and co founder, Johannes. Hi,
Hey,
Johannes.
hey, it's really good to be here. This is actually my first participation in these tech talks.
Nice. We had to had 51 before you joined,
Yes,
but
certainly.
but it's so glad to have you. I'm so glad that we have you here to talk about a newsletter we sent out on the, if I believe, 9th of September.
Yeah.
A technical update a little bit. So it will be nice to kind of hear your motivation behind it and why we did it, and then you can go ahead and we can go ahead and look at it and kind of comment on it together if you want.
Cool. Let's dive in.
Yeah, cool, nice. So I'll share the actual update and we can discuss it paragraph by paragraph. If you want to touch on the some motivation why we did it, what's why do we use this format, that would be nice.
Yeah. So this is a technical update we sent on the 9th of September, and the idea behind these updates is to inform our users and customers about changes that it's good for them to know about.
Mm-hmm.
We also share some of the community stuff we do as well while we're sending an email, because then we give some extra value besides you getting the necessary things.
Awesome. So we in the company have a very technical approach, and we want to keep our uh, audience and clients informed about some technical things that we did and updates. So first of all, we have the callback infrastructure has been refreshed. Can you comment on this? Can you elaborate a little bit what happened here?
Yeah. So whenever you do something in the API that requires information from us back, let's say you send an SMS and you want to deliver a report, you get that over an HTTP callback, and that is also called a webhook. And we have many of these, but that is probably the most common example. Another example is if you receive an SMS, you get
Mm-hmm.
that as a webhook as an HTTP callback as well. And it's a funny, it's when you send a lot of messages, you can get a lot of callbacks. When you have a lot of customers, we send out a lot of callbacks. So as we grow and as our platform has scaled, we have had more and more callbacks being sent to our customers, and that is tricky in many ways. One way is, what if your backend is not replying at the moment? What do we do? Well, we try again, right? Because if you just did a web server restart, you don't want to lose all your incoming SMS, for instance. So it's kind of nice, and you can see how many tries we do and for how long we retry in our FAQ and documentation. But that also means there has to be some kind of queue and some kind of behavior. So even though the amount of messages might not be too big for a single customer, it could still be a lot of callbacks and callback attempts, especially if your backend is not replying.
True.
So generally, the way it works is something has happened. We deliver a callback to you over HTTP to the URL, the SMS URL, or the when delivered URL, or the voice start that you've set on your in your usage of the API.
Yeah.
So we make that HTTP post request to that URL, and if we get a 200 OK back, an HTTP 200, then we note that this callback has been delivered and we won't retry. But if you reply with something else, or if we can't reach your backend, we'll try again. So some of the when you integrate with a platform initially, you learn these kind of things. So we have all various stages of customer environments that we interact with. One fun thing and good for people to know is sometimes the callbacks are overwhelming your web server, because let's say you send out 10,000 SMS and you have a bad bad backend to receive the callbacks that doesn't reply with 200 OK. That could result in hundreds of callbacks for each of those 10,000
requests.
So if you take 100 times 10,000, that becomes 1 million requests to your backend, and that could actually overwhelm your backend if we start to burst your backend like that. So and it might not be obvious when you build something. You test it for, let's say, 10 messages. Oh, it all works out well. We got all the delivery reports using the webhooks. What now? So that's one of the improvements we wanted to do. We wanted to be a bit nicer towards our customers' backends, and we also wanted to change the way queuing works, where we would more easily restart individual nodes. We had a sort of a less good queuing system, so we replaced that with a queuing system that allowed us to restart more individual components in our redundant tech stack. So and we also wanted to improve the performance because when we had all these kind of callbacks, they were more tightly connected to the treatment of API calls, but now we separate that into a separate service, internal service that is taking care of all the callbacks. So that service has a much higher throughput and better. It's better in all ways, and it's called Hedvig internally. That's the code name for it, and its main architect is Rupus in the company.
Nice. We had Rupus on Tech Talks before, and it's good that we notice these things and react to customer feedback and help actually by being nicer, as you said, towards the setup of our customers.
Yes, so, and one side effect here, besides there are like 3 good things. One of them is that we overwhelm your backends less, and we have like more redundancy, better queue handling. But it's also that it becomes more convenient for us to do restarts of different components. But more than that, this will allow us to add more debugging features in the near future, so you can actually get more information about all the callback attempts that we have made towards your backends. So that's coming in a later update. But
nice. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of sneak peek here.
Yes, and lastly, I tried to be a bit funny here in this in the wording here. So we also flipped a bit. So if you inspect the HTTP post requests coming your way, they now reach HTTP/1.1 instead of HTTP 1.0 on the request line, because between ASCII 0 and ASCII 1, it's just 1 bit of a difference, and they look the same, but some people with less experience think that HTTP 1.0 might be a deprecated protocol in that sense, but it's really the same thing, the way we deliver our callbacks. So, but that removes one less question mark for users to figure out that, okay, they're coming as HTTP 1.1. All good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're moving forward to beta unlocked numeric senders. So let's touch on that paragraph. So
when you send an SMS message in Europe, you generally send from a text sender ID, which is like your company name. But there might be circumstances where you want to send from an actual phone number. The most common reason you want to send from an actual phone number is when you do two-way messaging. So you send from a virtual phone number that you can get from us, because then you will get the replies into the APIs, and we get these callbacks and webhooks that we just talked about. And you get that if someone replies, you send a message from a virtual phone number, and when the user replies to that virtual phone number, that generates a webhook to your backend. But there are cases where you don't want the reply to reach the cell phone. You actually want, you don't want the reply to reach your actual backend. You want the reply to reach an actual cell phone.
Yes.
And when could that be? Let's say you do appointment scheduling and you send automatic reminders to 20 people, and someone has to cancel. Then the reply to that automatic, if you send from the actual phone number from an actual phone, the reply will reach the actual phone and the actual person. So then you don't need any automatic treatment of those replies, but you can still send automatic reminders instead of having to send all the reminders manually here. You can send the reminders automatically, but get the replies manually into a regular cell phone. And the way you do this is you use the from field and you set a real phone number. And obviously that would be security-wise very bad if you could set anyone's phone number and send from anyone. So this is a very restricted feature. By default, when you create an account in the 46elks platform, you can send from your own phone number. And the reason you can do that is because you verify that you are the owner of that phone number as a part of the registration process.
Yeah, so make sure you just send it, as you're testing, you just send it to yourself, kind of, to the
but you can send from yourself to your friends or colleagues with your default account. So that number is already unlocked on your account, and it becomes automatically unlocked when you create the account. But you can also send from other numbers, and again, those numbers could be virtual mobile phone numbers. But in this case, the unlocked numeric senders is when you add extra numbers. And let's say this cell phone, I could send from the number of this cell phone. That could be the the mobile phone of a colleague, let's say, not the number belonging to the account. And because you're building a software for your colleagues for automatic reminders. The way to unlock those numbers is that you contact our support and you say, hey, I have these 10 numbers I want to unlock. And then we verify with those people that, hey, do you want to authorize sending from your number in this application?
Yes, we want to double check because, as you said, it can be used differently.
Exactly. And what we've had here is we actually have an API now. Because if you do this more broadly, you have a company with lots of employees, and you know every month you onboard new employees, and it should be possible to send automatic reminders from the employee cell phones. It might be convenient to automate this process. So what we've added is actually an API that allows you to unlock from numbers using an API, and it's the same security in that the person who gets unlocked get the SMS that they have to reply to authorize, and that phone number is going to be used in our service. But you don't need to manually contact our support. So if you're interested in that add-on feature, you can ping our support, and they'll give you more input on the price to add this feature and how it works and the contracts that you need to sign for that.
Yeah, you can reach out on help@46elks.com. That's a good way to reach out, I think. Yes.
One funny side note, because we're doing this after we have had some reflections on the newsletter, is even though this part of the newsletter was about that we have an API for this, it turned out a lot of our users didn't know that you could unlock additional numbers even manually. So we had a lot of requests of manual unlocking after we sent this newsletter.
Awesome.
Which is great, because we want anybody listen here, we want you to know about the features in our platform.
Yes, it is important to have some way of understanding the deeper layers that are possible, or things that are possible with this platform. So yeah, that's very good. Let's move forward to application update, shared SMS inbox.
So we had colleagues doing a UI refresh of a application we made, and this application is for cases where you're a small team that communicates over SMS with a lot of people, or a substantial amount of people. So let's say you own a house and you communicate with the rentals in the house, the people renting them. Then instead of having one person doing texting on the regular phone, having a user interface where all the people responsible for tenants could synchronize their communication with the rentals. That's a very concrete and good use case, and a real use case that we have for this product. And so the way it works is it really looks like your SMS chat application on your iPhone or Android. Your standard SMS messaging application, but it's on the web, and you can have a shared login between multiple people. So it allows you to use your computer to do SMS chatting with your customers, really. And we made a nice UI upgrade. So if you're curious about that, we give people a 60-day free trial. So you can get an extra virtual mobile phone number for us and try it out and see if it works for your use case.
Yeah, it's nice to have just one hub and where people can like join and communicate using that. It sounds like that is the case here.
Yeah, we have there's an Android feature called, I think, Android messages. There are some ways to do this, like doing SMS from a computer, but then you need to have like one physical phone that the team is sharing. So this removes the need to have any kind of physical phone or extra SIM cards or anything. It's a virtual mobile phone number that your team can use to do two-way manual communication.
Awesome. Moving forward to user groups upcoming. So some organization happening here.
So people who have heard me pitch 46 elks many times, they often hear me say, that 46 elks is a toolbox that is worthless in itself, but extremely valuable if you know what you want to build. And one way to know what to build and get value out of this platform is by being inspired by other users and other customers. So that's what the user groups are about. So we are now increasing the amount of user groups we invite people to. So if you want a user group to be organized in your city or even in your country, please comment here or email help@46elks.com with like, hey, can you have a user group here? And we will receive all the requests we get, and we will try to prioritize the places where we hear requests coming. And so a user group is a way where it's like generally an evening where we invite both customers, users, and like curious people. And then it's just an evening of knowledge sharing, both technically and like use cases. What do people use this service for?
It's excellent. It's an excellent opportunity to get to know your other IT folk, other IT community members in your local vicinity. And I would encourage you to go and basically hang out there because we have been talking about the telco world here, but these user meetup groups are not about that. It's about hanging out, being curious about new technologies, exchanging experiences, exchanging knowledge. So that's my take on it, and I think that's really a nice part of 46 elks.
It's a really nice side effect with the user groups that you also get to know your local IT community. Yeah, besides learning more about how the service can be the service can be useful. And if you want to be sure that you get information about when a user group is happening in your city, the best way is actually to create a 46 elks account, because then you will get the next technical update, which will include more dates and links on how to join these user groups.
Exactly. So we also have new use case articles, which are something that we will continue doing in these newsletters. So in the chat here or in the comment section, you will notice these links. You can click on them in the description.
I would highly recommend the first one there. Which it's kind of cool because it shares a not commonly known feature, which is you'll be able to configure your you can control what's happening when you call the phone number without actually writing code. You
awesome.
Can configure to that code. So this article is recommended read.
So here's a small preview. Take a look at it. We'll share the links so you can click on it and make sure you reach out if you need some help. Again, at help@46elks.com. Awesome. Really good to have you, Johannes, here and to have these talks.
Yes, I'm really happy to be joining. And even though you closed the newsletter, that is good. I want to make a last shout out, which is at the really bottom end in the Swedish version, you could read, follow us on Instagram to get ice cream recommendations and other behind the scenes photos. So if you're curious about like how could it be to work at a company like 46 elks, be sure to check out our Instagram. The English version here of the newsletter was slightly less ice cream-ishy.
We have a lovely Instagram page. We really try to update you on what we're doing. So really, I recommend that you follow us and keep up So nice, good to have this newsletter and to kind of show the community what we're doing. We had loads of similar talks in these tech talks where we talk about the importance of community, or we talk about importance of transparent communication, which we do in 46 Elks, and being very open about the process that within our own company. So I'm very glad, Johannes, that you joined today to talk about the plans we have delivered on and the plans that we'll have for the future. So it's really cool to have you. Hopefully you will join in the next couple of tech talks in the future, but I also invite you all join us in these tech talks if you want to share your story about like a certain project, if you want to talk about a certain technology, if you just want to talk about a certain practice that kind of helped you in life, please reach out. You can reach out to help at 46elks. You can reach out to me directly at Rene at 46elks. You see here. Reach out through Instagram, whatever is to your liking. But we would like to have a chat with you. We would like to have like your story and talk tech, talk really important IT things with you. So yeah.
Great, thank you, Rene, and happy to be a part of this session. And I'm looking forward already to be back.
Nice. Thanks everyone for joining in, for listening in. Hopefully we made some things clear. If not, reach out. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.